if you don't think that that's going to happen, next slide. Let's go to Josephus. What happened during the fall of 70 AD? Let's see what happened. Remember, everything comes back around, brothers and sisters. I told y'all I'm going into it. Let's get the second half of verse 3, Elder.
Then did famine widen its progress.
The famine widened its progress. Read.
And devoured the people by whole houses and families.
Whole houses and families. Read.
The upper rooms were full of women and children that were dying of famine.
Dying of famine. Read.
And the lanes of the city were full of dead bodies of the aged.
Just dead bodies throughout the entire city. Read.
The children also and the young men wandered about the marketplaces like shadows, all swallowed with the famine and fell dead.
All sweat. When you're in famine, your stomach swells, it bloats. So you have people walking around like zombies that haven't eaten, that are dying. They're not even going to be people. This is going to be like shadows. Read.
All swelled with the famine and fell dead wherever their misery seized them.
Wherever their misery sees them. Read.
Famine confounded all natural possessions. For those who, I'm sorry, this slide is not looking right over here. For those who are just going to die, looked upon those who are gone to rest. Slakia. One moment.
Something wrong with the slide?
Yeah, I gotta try to read it from here. Let's see. Lost my place.
Salakia. It's my apologies.
But the famine confounded all natural passions. For those
so it said it confounded all natural passions. What does that mean? The Christ said, the love of many shall wax cold, when he was talking about the end times in Matthew chapter 24. So this is saying that because of the famine in the land, people's natural passions, their natural love for other people, their natural feelings towards others are gone. They don't care about anyone but themselves. What did he say happened? It went so bad. They did what? It said what? Read.
For those who were going to just die, looked upon those who were gone to rest before them with dry eyes and open mouths.
It says they no tears. No tears, no emotion whatsoever. It got so bad, our people started cannibalizing one another, brothers and sisters. Read.
A deep silence also, and a kind of deadly night has seized upon the city.
It was eerily quiet. Couldn't even hear birds singing. Just eerily quiet. Read.
While yet the robbers were more terrible than the miseries were themselves.
The what? See, y'all think, listen, this is going to turn into the purge. These people the people who have stuff, you're the one in danger. You're the one in danger. It's you. You're the one in danger. He said, and the robbers what?
Were still more terrible than these miseries were themselves.
He said the robbers were worse than the famine. There's going to be people that use this as an excuse to enact everything that they wanted to enact their entire lives. Read.
For they break open those houses which were no other than graves for dead bodies, and plundered them of what they had.
So they would go into the houses, break open the houses, and take what was left in there. And then what happened?
And carrying off the coverings of their bodies.
And carrying off the coverings of their bodies. They took their clothes. Read.
Went out laughing, and tried the points of their swords in the dead bodies.
So it said that they went out laughing. These people found this funny. They found it humorous. He said they tried the points of their swords in the dead bodies. They were stabbing dead bodies and cutting up corpses. They thought it was fun. Read.
And in order to prove the metal, in order to prove what metal they were made of, they thrust some of those through that still lay alive on the ground.
They were killing people that were still alive. If y'all have any doubts as to what a famine can do, if there was ever any doubt as to what a famine can do. See, the Most High is going to dry up the springs, and there will be no rain. There's going to be a drought in the land. And all the storehouses have already been opened and pillaged. Those who have flee and escape will know that this is the judgment from the Most High on the United States. And when all men have abandoned God and become disillusioned with their faiths, they will roll out the God of this world. Just like Albert Pike said. These people are dead. Those who aren't dead will be starving. And everyone who's alive is going to be godless. And the government's going to come out and say, you know what, guys? We have a solution. All you have to do is receive this mark. We have rations. We have food. You want to be able to go from city to city again? All you got to do is take this small, it's just a grain of rice goes in your hand. And you know what? We'll even give you a credit. We'll put money on your check. How many people do you think who are in if they had the mark of the beast and this time that Josephus is talking about, how many of those people would have taken it? I want to hear from you in the chat. How many of those people would have taken it? If this was offered to them. But not only with that, they're going to roll out what? As Albert Pike said, they're going to roll out the quote unquote pure doctrine of Lucifer. And guess what? People are going to accept it. They're going to accept Lucifer as their God. They're going to accept Lucifer as their God. And they're going to turn the entire world to worship the beast, just like Revelation says, that the daughter of Babylon, that the United States would cause the entire world to worship before the beast, before Rome. And when that happens, Rome and no other nation will have any use for the United States. You've unrolled the new currency. You've unrolled the new system. You have unrolled the new God. Now, Babylon, we no longer need your influence. It's time for you to go. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following us, brothers and sisters. I want to make sure that you're following here. They're going to offer the world relief through the mark. Telling you, brothers and sisters. Let's go to the next slide. After the United States has crumbled economically and the world is turned back to the beast, then Iran and his partners will begin to fire on and destroy her. How does that look? Let's get Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 1. Verse 13, Salakia, verse 13.
Jeremiah chapter 50, starting at verse 13. Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate.
It shall be wholly desolate. So if you think you're going to survive, no. Because of the wrath of the Most High, it will not be inhabited. Read.
Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished.
They're going to be like, what just happened? How is this even possible? Read.
and hiss at all her plagues.
Mm-hmm.
Put yourselves in array against Babylon around about,
Mm-hmm.
all ye that bend the bow.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot at her, spare no
Shoot
arrows.
at her. Spare no arrows. Use every nuclear weapon you got. Read.
For she has sinned against the Lord.
She has sinned against the Lord. Read.
Shout against her round about.
Mm-hmm.
She hath given her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Her foundations are fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Her walls are thrown down.
Mm-hmm.
For it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her.
The Most High says that he's going to she is going to be utterly desolate. No one, if you decide that your destiny is to stay in the United States and not do as the Most High commanded you, consider this your fate. It said that halfway desolate, a quarter desolate. No, it says wholly desolate. The United States will be wholly desolate. Iran and his armies. Let's get Jeremiah. Let's go to the next chapter and get Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 11.
Jeremiah chapter 51, starting at verse 11. Make bright the arrows.
What
Gather
does that mean? Make bright the arrows. Keep in mind, the time that Jeremiah is living in, he doesn't know what a nuclear weapon is. He's never seen one. All he sees is something that's the similitude of something that he knows. So he's seeing flaming arrows. Read.
Make bright the arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Gather the shields.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord hath raised up the spirit of kings of the Medes.
He's raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Who is the king of the Medes? The Iranians. Read.
For his device is against Babylon.
He's going to use them like a handgun. Against who? Against the United States. Read.
To destroy it. Because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple.
The vengeance of his temple, of his people. Iran and his armies, along with those who have set themselves against Babylon, against the United States, or turned against the United States, will fire weapons of mass destruction with pinpoint accuracy, targeting the fault lines and nuclear plants. Let's go to the next slide. Check this out. BRICS and Iran's ascent to in the nuclear chess game. Iran's influence is expanding significantly. What does that mean? People agree and are uniting their ideals with Iran, specifically BRICS. Another one says, this is from the Jerusalem Post. Nuclear-armed Israel's war in Gaza keeps the world on edge of doomsday clock. The clock in 1947 to warn the public about how close mankind is to destroying the world. Iran adds pressure on the U.S. with nuclear program acceleration. They've accelerated the production of nuclear weapons. The UN says that Tehran has increased output of near weapons grade uranium after summer slowdown. Iran is busy, brothers and sisters. Put a 1 in the chat if you're seeing this. You see it. So they're gonna be targeting the Iranians when they fire these nuclear weapons. They're gonna be targeting specific areas, namely the fault lines. Why? Some people who are ignorant to this information think that nuclear power plants can blow up. That is not true. Nuclear power plants don't blow up, they melt down. So by targeting the fault lines, by targeting these nuclear plants on these fault lines, there will be a meltdown, which means that the release of toxic radiation for 20 miles per nuclear power plant. How many of you guys know that there's over almost 2,000 nuclear plants on the West Coast alone, on the East Coast alone? Now put a 20-mile radius on each one of those, and that's how many places are going to be filled with radiation and toxins that you can't breathe, that the water is going to be poisoned. So you're going to die one of two ways. You're going to get blown up, or the radiation is going to get you. But that's not all.
Shalom, family, and thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos like these, including our full-length lessons and live streams, subscribe to our YouTube channel, House of Judah International Fellowship Church. Also, give us a follow on all of our other social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.